Hi, my name is Jake and welcome to Console Sim Racing Reviews. In this video we're going to be covering off a little bit about myself, a little bit about my new YouTube channel, and of course a little bit about my current rig, my current setup and how I race. A little bit of an introduction to myself. So I've always been into cars, I've always been interested in racing, and I started console gaming back when I was a kid. I started with a Sega Master System. I've since been through a PlayStation 1, I had an Xbox, I had an Xbox 360, and I then moved back into PlayStation with the PS4. My current setups include a PS4, a PS3, and an Xbox One S. Now, the aim of this channel for me is to make it a little bit easier for console buyers to find their equipment. Now, when I was looking for my equipment, when I was looking to get into rig racing, it was quite difficult. There wasn't a lot of review sites out there, there wasn't a lot of comparison sites, and that for me made it really, really difficult. The only thing I had to go on was sort of word of mouth of friends. Now, what I wanted to do is just be able to have one place where a console gamer can come, and depending on their budget, they can find a rig setup, they can find a wheel setup, they can find a pedal setup that works for them and their budget. And this is the setup as you see it. So my current setup includes a Sony 55-inch 4K TV. That then runs through the Sony N7200 5.1 surround sound system. And we've got the surround sound speakers mounted at the back there. This is a GT Omega rig. We'll go through the individual parts at the moment. This was not a one-piece rig. I've actually built this over some time. But just to give you a run through of some of the equipment. So this is the Thrustmaster T300 RS. What we actually had with this was the GT Edition wheel. Now the only difference between the GT Edition and the original T300 RS was this GT logo in the middle. But so a really, really nice wheel to get you going. And what we've added to that then is also the Thrustmaster F1 Ferrari replica wheel. This is actually a 1-to-1 scale, so really, really nice for games like F1 16, F1 17. It automatically recognises this, and a lot of the buttons, so things like your KERS, things like your DRS, are actually automatically mapped into the game. They're the right buttons. The other thing that makes this wheel a little bit different as well, which I quite like, is not only do you have the standard pull paddles, but if you're going through a really tight turn, you're going in one-handed, your other hand's not in the right place for the paddle, you can actually push on these paddles to shift in the opposite direction. And that makes them fairly unique amongst the Thrustmaster wheels. So, what we've also got here is the T3PA Pro pedals. Now, as you can see, I actually use these inverted. So these are in the GT style, which means they're hinged at the top instead of being hinged at the bottom. Again, just a more comfortable driving style and a personal preference of mine. This then is mounted on the GT Omega wheel stand. Now, when I originally had this wheel stand, it only came up to here. So this made it very comfortable, a very nice piece of kit. When I first started racing out, I was actually racing on a sofa as my seat. I didn't have the back half of this rig. We'll come to that shortly. The reason I picked the GT Omega wheel stand in particular was because of its twin struts. So you've actually got the two posts instead of the single post that comes up between your legs. Again, I found that a lot more comfortable, a lot easier to use, a lot easier to get in and out as well. It's much more stable and a very, very nice racing rig. What I've since done is added the back half of this rig. So that adds the frame from here right the way through to the back, and the GT Omega RS9 racing seat. Now this is quite regularly customized by my daughter. I quite often find fluffy toys and teddies sitting in the rig and ready to race up on screen as well. A couple of other bits that we've added to this. My current wheel, as you can see, I've got the Sparco R383 wheel from Thrustmaster. Very, very regularly added on. More into my rallying games. I'm quite a harsh driver, so say having the ability to let the wheel slip rather than necessarily using the formula style wheel, more personal, easier for me to use. We've then got the twin THA shifter setups. So this one, I have a custom shifter knob made for it. This was made by a very, very close friend of mine. And the second THA that we have here, this is more often than not, and with more and more games coming, used as a handbrake. So games like Dirt Rally, games like Dirt 4, I have the ability to be able to use that as a handbrake in game. The newest setup, the newest add-on to this rig is the Thrustmaster Bluetooth LED display. Now, as you can see here, that is currently mounted on a phone mount from the Pound Shop, of all things. There is no official way of being able to mount this display onto the rim just yet. I'm currently working very, very closely with a good friend of mine who is in the process of 3D printing a mount to be able to go onto the wheel. This might work, this might not. We'll keep an eye out for it in future videos and see if that works. And so yeah, this is where I race. This is my current setup. And so this is where I spend the majority of my free time. Now, a few interesting things about this particular rig is there's so much of it can be customised. So for example, the RS9 seat from GT Amiga actually came pre-installed with seat rails, meaning the seat can be moved all the way back, can be moved all the way forward. Just down to my left on here, I've actually got a little lever which allows the seat to adjust at the back. So again, much like a real car would. So if you particularly like to be sat up, you can. If you prefer to be laid back, this seat goes literally all the way back and will stay. Now, I have a slightly more relaxed driving style, so I do like to be leant back a little bit more, but almost sitting very close to the pedals. Now, I'm 6 foot, so I've got quite long legs. However, I do prefer to be sat quite close to the pedals. Again, a couple of other points to this rig that can be moved is you've got these little screw knobs here. These can be undone, the wheel can be raised, lowered, the wheel platform can be tilted both forward and back. And I've actually got the bars here again that I can move the whole seat closer and further from the pedals. That makes life a lot easier. Again, if you want to make it custom, you want to make it personal, and you want to make it more comfortable for yourself. So, like I said, this is what I've got sitting in front of my TV with the 5.1 system here. Again, I'm going to be doing a few videos. I'm going to be shooting quite a lot from here. So this is just to give you guys a bit of an idea of my point of view while I'm driving. What we've got here, obviously you can see the Sparco R383. We have both shifters are to hand and sat close enough to the TV that this is all I need to focus on. The Thrustmaster Bluetooth LED display here, this barely covers the bottom of the screen, but this is the kind of place that you'd normally get the kind of info that this supplies to you anyway. So actually it just blends in very, very nicely. It shows off the majority of the information that I need. It gives me my gears, it gives me my revs, just makes shifting a little bit easier and playing around. So yeah, hopefully you like this video. If you like this one, you'll probably like a lot more that's to come. So please please subscribe, and if you want to be notified each time that I upload a new video, please click on the little bell and it will actually give you a notification as and when I do upload more content. Thanks very much for your time, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, you're sure to like the rest of the videos that I'm going to upload, so make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and obviously share amongst your friends as well so they can get involved. If you've got some cool tech that you'd like to see reviewed and assessed on my channel, by all means hit me up on the email address that's on screen now.